We're diving deep into the top 5 most valuable Washington quarter dollars ever discovered. Did you know that some ordinary-looking Washington quarters could be worth up to $170,000? That's right, coins you might in your pocket change or tucked away in an old coin jar could be ultra-rare treasures. From minting mistakes to off-metal errors and forgotten silver strikes, these quarters have stunned collectors and auction houses alike, the rarest of the rare. Stick around to see which one could be hiding in plain sight and worth a small fortune. We're diving deep into the story behind this legendary coin, 1965 Washington quarter dollar, its history, the minting error that makes it so valuable, how to identify it, and why it could be hiding in your pocket right now. So grab your magnifying glass and stay with me till the end. You won't believe how much this quarter is truly worth. 1965 was a monumental year in U.S. coinage history. Due to a national coin shortage and the skyrocketing price of silver, the U.S. Mint made a historic decision to stop using 90% silver in quarters. From that year forward, quarters would be made using a copper-nickel-clad composition instead of the silver alloy used from 1932 through 1964. The change wasn't subtle. Silver coins had a distinct look. What makes the 1965 silver error so valuable? So why are these error quarters worth $45,000 to $85,000 or more? There are two primary reasons. Rarity: only a handful of 1965 quarters were struck on leftover silver plankets. These coins were not meant to exist. As such, they were never officially released, and most were likely caught and melted. But some slipped through the cracks and into circulation. To date, only a very small number have been confirmed by top grading services like PCGS Professional Coin Grading Service and NGC Numismatic Guarantee Company. Their certified rarity adds to the value exponentially. Record auction sales prices. Let's talk money. Cold, hard, cash. Here are some jaw-dropping auction results. A 1965 quarter struck on a 90% silver planchet was sold by Heritage Auctions for $7,050 in a lower grade. Another in MS6-7 condition mint state reached $45,000. A top-tier silver 1965 quarter in pristine condition has gone for as high as $66,000, and experts believe one could even reach $85,000 or more if it hits the market today. And here's the kicker. These coins were found in circulation. That's right. People discovered them in pocket change, old rolls, and inherited coin collections. How to identify the 1965 silver error quarter? Let's get practical. If you're hoping to strike gold, or in this case, silver, here's how to identify the rare 1965 silver error. Check the edge. Regular 1965 quarters clad show a copper stripe on the edge due to their copper core. A silver quarter has no copper stripe. Its edge is pure silver in appearance. Weight matters. Silver planchet quarters weigh 6.25 grams. Clad 1965 quarters weigh 5.67 grams. Use a digital gram scale. This is the easiest way to narrow it down. The ring test. Silver coins have a high-pitched ring when dropped. Get it graded. If you find a 1965 quarter that looks silvery and feels heavier, don't clean it. Submit it to PCGS or NGC for professional authentication. We're uncovering everything about this ultra-rare 1966 Washington quarter dollar, its hidden history, the striking mistake that made it a legend, and how you could still find one sitting in your pocket change. Stay locked and you won't want to miss. The year 1966 was right in the middle of a numismatic revolution. Just 1 year earlier, in 1965, the United States Mint had shifted away from using 90% silver in its coinage due to rising silver prices and a nationwide coin shortage. As a result, the Mint introduced copper-nickel-clad plankets, which became the new standard for quarters. Off-center strike errors, $10,000 to $30,000. Double die obverse DDO, $63,000 to $87,000. Wrong planchet errors, $50,000 to $105,000. Auction sales record and market value. So what makes this rare 1966 quarter worth? Let's break it down. Extremely low survival rate. The U.S. Mint struck millions of regular 1966 quarters on clad plankets, but only a tiny handful were struck on leftover silver plankets by mistake. Most were likely caught and melted before ever leaving the facility. Only a few escaped, making them ultra-rare. Historical importance: the 1966 era quarters represent a transition period in U.S. minting history. These coins are evidence of the turbulence during the switch from silver to clad coinage. A single example graded in mint state or near perfect condition can command $80,000 or more at auction. In fact, one high-grade example sold for $63,000 and another fetched $87,000 today. Collectors estimate that a pristine specimen could break six figures, landing in the $105,000 range or beyond. How to identify the 1966 silver planchet? You're probably asking, how can I tell if my 1966 quarter is the jackpot? Here's what to look for. Check the edge. Normal 1966 quarters have a copper-colored edge due to their copper-nickel clad composition. Silver quarters have a solid silver edge, no copper stripe. Pro tip: the edge is often the first giveaway. Weigh it. A silver planchet quarter weighs 6.25 grams. A regular clad 1966 quarter weighs 5.67 grams. Use a precision digital scale. This is the most reliable way to check. If your quarter weighs around 6.25 grams, you might have something truly rare. Color and luster: silver quarters have a bright white sheen, especially when well preserved. We're diving deep into the rare 1967 era Washington quarter dollar, the incredible history behind it, the secret to identifying one, and why collectors for just one of these coins. Stay with me till the end, because your next coin hunt could change your life. The year 1967 was a time for the U.S. Mint. Just 2 years earlier, in 1965, the Mint removed silver from dimes and quarters entirely, switching to a copper-nickel clad composition. The change was made due to the rising price of silver and a national coin shortage that caused panic across banks and retailers. By 1967, the Mint was still adjusting to the transition, working overtime to meet demand while phasing out old equipment and processes. Off-center strikes, $50,000 to $60,000. Double strikes, $90,000 to $100,000. Wrong planchet errors, $113,000 to $120,000. Auction sales price and value. It's not every day a 25-cent coin sells for more than $100,000, so what exactly makes this error so valuable? Let's break it down. Unintentional silver strikes. By 1967, quarters were only supposed to be struck on copper-nickel clad plankets. However, leftover 90% silver plankets from 1964 or earlier were accidentally fed into the presses. A silver 1967 quarter was an accident and a rare one. Survival against the odds: most error coins are caught by mint workers. But in this case, a few silver planchet quarters made it into bags of clad quarters and were released into general circulation. High demand, low supply. Collectors go wild for transitional errors, especially those involving precious metal like silver. The 1967 silver quarter is one of the rarest transitional errors ever discovered. Graded and authenticated examples have sold for $90,000 in O condition, $113,000 in MS66, and an expected $120,000 or more in higher mint states. Some experts believe that if a flawless MS67 or higher specimen surfaces, it could shatter auction records. How to identify a 1967 silver planchet error? Here's the fun part: how to spot one. If you come across a 1967 quarter, here's how to tell if it's a hidden treasure. Look at the edge. A normal clad quarter has a copper stripe on the edge due to its inner copper core. A silver quarter has a pure silver edge, clean and consistent all the way around. This is often the fastest way to check. Weigh it. A standard 1967 clad quarter weighs 5.67 grams. A silver quarter weighs 6.25 grams. Use a precision digital gram scale. This can confirm the metal content in seconds. If your 1967 quarter weighs near 6.25 grams, it could be a silver planchet error. Color and tone. Silver coins often appear brighter or shinier, even after decades. Professional authentication. If you suspect you have a silver 1967 quarter, do not clean or polish it. Send it to a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC. We're uncovering the stunning story of the ultra-rare 1968 era Washington quarter dollar, A coin born from a minting mistake so rare, so unexpected, it shocked the coin collecting world. Very few know it exists. Even fewer have ever seen one. When one appears, collectors will pay six-figure prices just to own it. Stay with me until the end, because if you know what to look for, this life-changing. The year 1968 was a pivotal time for U.S. coinage after removing silver from quarters and dimes in 1965. The U.S. Mint continued refining its copper-nickel-clad technology. By 1968, production was stable, but mints were still working with leftover materials and old equipment, leading to some truly unintentional errors. One major change in 1968 was the return of mint marks, which had been temporarily removed from coins. Off-center strike, $10,000 to $30,000. Double strike, $20,000 to $50,000. Wrong planchette error, $120,000 to $140,000. Clipped planchette, $30,000 to $170,000. Auction sales record and value. Let's talk about the value behind the myth. Rarity of survival. The U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of clad quarters in 1968, but only a tiny handful were mistakenly struck on silver plankets. These silver plankets were holdovers from before 1965 and should have been long gone. Somehow, they slipped into circulation undetected. To this day, only a few examples of silver 1968 quarters are known to exist. That extreme rarity is what drives their value to astonishing heights. Six-figure auction results. A silver 1968 quarter in mint state, MS66, condition sold for $120,000. Another known example, slightly higher in grade, reached $140,000. Numismatic experts believe that if a gem-quality MS67 or MS68 example appeared today, it could command $170,000 or more at auction. Collector demand. Error collectors, silver stackers, and Washington quarter enthusiasts are all in competition for the rarest coins. The 1968 silver error checks. How to identify the 1968 silver planchette error quarter. Finding one of these rare coins starts with knowing what to look for. Here's how you can identify a potentially life-changing 1968 quarter. Examine the edge. Regular 1968 quarters have a copper-colored edge due to their layered metal composition, copper core with nickel exterior. Silver quarters have a pure, uniform silver edge, no copper stripe at all. Check the edge first, it's the easiest giveaway. Weigh the coin. A standard 1968 clad quarter weighs 5.67 grams. A 90% silver quarter weighs 6.25 grams. Use a digital gram scale with 0.01 grams accuracy. If your 1968 quarter weighs closer to 6.25 grams, you might be holding the real deal. Color and luster. Silver coins often have a brighter, whiter shine over time. They may develop rich gray or rainbow-like toning. Clad quarters tend to be duller and show more copper hints around the edge. Get it certified. Send it to PCGS or NGC for professional authentication and grading. What if I told you that a single Washington quarter, yes, that everyday 25-cent coin, could be hiding in your pocket or coin jar? Right, we're talking about one of the most valuable and mysterious error coins in U.S. history, the legendary 1969 error Washington quarter dollar. We're diving deep into how this coin defied the U.S. Mint. Stunned collectors. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. It was never intended to become a permanent coin, but it was so well received that it became a staple of U.S. currency. Fast forward to 1969, America was in the space race, the Vietnam War was ongoing, and the Mint was working overtime. That year, the Mint produced over 114 million quarters across various facilities, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Auction sales price and market value. Let's talk money. In recent auctions, certified specimens of this coin have sold for staggering amounts in one high-profile sale. A gem-quality 1969S double die quarter fetched over $165,000. Another well-preserved example with superb eye appeal went under the hammer for a record-setting to $100,000. Why such a huge price? Because this coin checks all the boxes for collectors. It's rare, it's dramatic, it's a mistake that shouldn't have happened, and most importantly, it's nearly impossible to find. Even damaged or low-grade examples are worth thousands. with authenticated coins in a almost uncirculated condition easily surpassing $150,000 to $90,000, but in mint state, MS65 or higher. You're entering a whole new stratosphere, six-figure. How to identify one? Want to know if you have one of these goldmine quarters? Here's how to check for the error date. Look at the 1969. If it appears shadowed or doubled, that's a good sign. Inscriptions inspect and Liberty. If you see crisp doubling, it might be the real deal. Mint mark. The coin must have an S mint mark beneath Washington's neck. Condition. Even worn examples can be valuable, but mint condition versions are worth the most. Use a 10x magnifying loupe or take it to a reputable coin dealer or grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication.